Hi everyone, welcome back. Let's write some more Leetcode today. Today we are solving count subarrays with fixed bounds. So we are given an integer array nums and two integers min k and max k. And we want to return the number of fixed bound subarrays. And a fixed bound subarray just means that the minimum value in the subarray is equal to min k and the maximum value is equal to max k. So if we look at this example, we will return 2 because there are only two subarrays that satisfies it, which is this subarray and this subarray. And if we look at this example, we can return 10 because there are 10 possible subarrays. We can return 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we return 10. And now that we have seen some examples, let's get to how we can solve this problem. So for this problem, we will use this equation at every iteration, and they will all initially be initialized as -1. So min pos will be the rightmost position up to the element we are at that has the value of min k, and max pos will be the same thing but for max k, and left will be the rightmost position up to the element we are at that violates it. So if it is greater than max k or less than min k. So at this iteration, we will see that min position will be equal to 0 and max position would be equal to 2, and the left would be -1 because we haven't had an element that violates it yet. So we will add 1 to result because 0 minus -1 is 1. And as you can see, this subarray is valid when we have this on the right side. Now if we look at this example, the min position will still be 0, the max position will still be 2. However, 7 does violate it, so left would be considered index 4. So then we would add nothing to result since this would be 0 minus 4, which is negative, so 0 is larger, so we add nothing. And let's say even if we are at this element, the left is still this, even though the right is this, so we will still add nothing to result because we cannot form a subarray this way because 7 will violate it. So let's go over this example real quick. And initially they're all -1. On the first element we have 2. We don't see any matches, so everything stay -1. And now we're at 1. We're at min k. Still add nothing to result, can't form anything. Come to 3, nothing changes. We come to 5. Now we can change max k to 3. And min k is at 1. So the minimum of these two is 1, and 1 minus -1 is 2. So we add 2 to result. And as we can see, with 5, we can form this as a subarray, and we can form this as a subarray. So that's why we add 2 subarrays to result. We iterate to the next element, same thing. We can form this as a subarray, and we can form this as a subarray. So that's why we add 2 more, and now the result is 4. And now we come to 7. 7 is 5, so we cannot form any subarrays in this realm, because now the left is getting larger than min k and max k. And then we come to 5, the same thing. We update max k, but it doesn't matter because min k is smaller and 1 minus 5 is still negative, so we add nothing to result. So now we come to the end, we can return 4 as the result. And the time complexity would be O of n, where n is the number of elements in the array, because that's the number of elements we're going to iterate through. And the space complexity would be O of 1, because we are not using any extra space. So now let's get to the coding part. So first, we can initialize result to 0, and min position to -1, max position to -1, and left to -1. So now we will loop through nums, so index, which is the index, and num, which is the number, and enumerate nums. And if the number is less than min k, or if it is greater than max k, then we will set left to the index where that number is at. And if num is equal to min k, then we will set min position to the index of that number. And if num is equal to max k, then we will set the max position to that index. And then we will use the equation for the result, so the max of 0 or the minimum of min position and max position minus the left. Max position minus the left. And then we can return result. See if it works. Okay, perfect. Thank you all for watching. Hope this was helpful. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to leave in the comment section, and I hope to see you all again soon.